So have you seen, I know that they have shown it nonstop on, we've talked about defund the police.
Yeah.
And there's a congresswoman, I think her name is Cori Bush from Missouri. She's the loudest defund the police protester, loudest by far. And she went on TV. Apparently they did a big thing on Fox News about her a couple weeks ago. She's defund the police, defund the police, defund the police. She has spent $70,000 on personal security for herself during this time where she wants to defund the police. Now, look, I've said many times, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, but I can tell you, and I don't like the police. I'm not a fan at all. I have had way too many encounters with the police to enjoy their presence, but we do need them. I just think we should change their mission. We should change their level of authority on certain topics, but we have to have police. We can see what's happening in the country without them. There are people being just blown away every day. Anyway, Cori Bush has been the loudest defund the police. She's like, defund the police. She got on TV this week and they interviewed her on the steps of the Capitol and they were like, hey, what's up with you? You want to defund the police, but you're spending $70,000 of your campaign's contributions, not her own money.
Oh.
Money people are giving her to campaign. And she went the fuck off. And basically her whole argument was, my life is valuable. So suck it up. Fuck you. I'm going to keep getting personal security for me, but I'm going to still do everything I can to pull the police, to defund the police.
Do you think she's doing that because of the appearance that she wants to have? Like, pull up a picture of Cori Bush, and then you look at her and go, she has to say defund the police. She is the demographic.
Her whole persona, her whole start,
everything
to her political career started as a result of the guy in St. Louis. I don't remember which name it was, but he was the hands up, don't shoot. He was the guy who got out of the car and he was, I don't want to say the wrong name because I know there's several, the guy that got choked to death in New York, but the St. Louis guy that I think he had robbed a convenience store or like just shoplifted a couple things. And they tracked him down, and the cops, and he apparently got out of his car and was walking towards them. The story was that he had his hands up, and he was like, "My hands are up, please don't shoot." And they shot him and killed him. And there was a ton of protests about it. And she led a lot of those protests. She was a part of it.
Ferguson.
My understanding, yes, Ferguson, Missouri. I don't remember the guy. What's the guy's name?
I'm looking here. See who it was. Ferguson.
I can't remember his name.
I don't either.
I can't believe it's not in the story.
I gotta dip to it.
But anyway, I want to say
Michael Brown.
I was going to say Michael Brown. Which I knew
that was like 8 years ago.
Right. But she, from that, she was a big part of those protests. She was involved in them. They were loud. They went on for a long time. And then from that, she launched her political career, I believe. So she's not coming from a typical politician's background.
Right, but I mean, she's representing everyone around her. Like, to me...
Right, yeah.
And it sounds bad to judge a book by its cover, but when I look at her, there's no way she doesn't defund the police.
Well,
just by look,
you can make a better argument than defund. I don't know why anyone has to. I don't know why anyone has to think that defunding the police is the answer. Yeah, that's her. That looks like the actual footage from the interview I'm talking about. And I'm going to tell you, man, when the midterms come around, there's not a Republican out there that's not going to play that interview in conjunction with violent footage of people going through cities and murdering people and then putting that up there. She's given
So
whatever
what do you think her stance is on officers shot over the weekend? I mean, how do you?
What happened?
There's where is it? Chicago? Someone just got shot. There's I think it was Illinois. There was they've got police officers. So a woman, police officer in Chicago, Ella French, was gunned down, and on the force since 2018. There's 3 people arrested in connection with the shooting, and I don't know that they've really told us what happened, except that she was shot down. She was gunned down over the weekend. So what? How do you play both sides of that argument? Like, what's their take on that? I want to know, because you can't go out there and just say defund the police while they're getting shot and they're not.
Yeah, I mean, well, she made an incoherent argument. It was really hard to follow what she was even saying. She went from saying she was going to spend $200,000, and then she said she was going to spend $10 on her security. It was very difficult to follow what she was saying. There's no logical argument behind defunding the police. The police should not be defunded. I've said many times, not only should the police not be defunded, the police should be a main.
Kill the blind man.
We should make it more difficult to become a policeman. We should have much longer training requirements. We should overfund. We should continue to fund. We should massively fund the police. It's probably one of the most important things. We should make sure that we're not putting unqualified officers. I think a lot of the problem that we have with people going out and cops going out and killing people is that they're untrained to do what they're out there to do. They are finding themselves in situations that they're completely unprepared for.
And on top of that, the people that they are engaging with are also highly untrained people. Untrained, unpredictable. We as people are untrained, unpredictable people. And the cops don't have enough training and to de-escalate. I mean, they're not really saying what happened. 2 people were shot, 2 cops. The other one, he's probably going to die. I mean, he's got like a shot through the eye. He's got a bullet in his head. I mean, look, man. But at the same token, we're screaming against police. Look, at the end of the day, they're all people. They're all just people. Just humans. They just signed up for a job. And no one should be killing each other regardless. So it's crazy. Like,
well, it's highly hypocritical, and it's an insult to everybody who voted for her. For her to be out there taking her campaign funds and paying for armed personal security for herself. She basically was like, I need to be alive. I am important. Let me tell you something. I think everybody feels that way about themselves. I think everyone feels that they're important enough to stay alive. I mean, we would like to live. Pal, right here, good old Pal. Pal contributes nothing more than happiness to society. It's a joy to have Pal around. He's not a hard worker.
He works hard.
He doesn't, he's not bringing in a lot of income into the home, but having Pal around is a joy. Having most people around, whether they're a hard worker or whether everyone has their contribution that they make. We would like people want to stay alive. Animals fight to stay alive. And so for a person to be like, well, I need to be alive more than you, which is what she's saying to everyone. And I would say that is the exact opposite of the type of leadership that we need in this country right now. And although I'm sure she'll get reelected again and again, I would hope that we can do better than the people that are currently in charge. I think she's a perfect example. I think there are a lot of examples. I've said before, I don't think anybody should get reelected for anything. I think every single position that's available in our government that is up for election should be required to be a completely brand new person every single time.
That makes sense.
And
honestly, if we think about this, if we didn't have term limits for presidents and they just kept electing it, that's basically you electing a dictator or someone who does not leave.
That's what they do.
But in the Senate and the Congress, some of them are
question.
In a sense, a dictator of that position.
No doubt. There's people there that have been reelected even,
and it's frustrating to me whenever you have an election and they go, oh, well, it's hard to get the incumbent out. And it should be easy.
Right.
What have you been doing?
Nothing. How could their track record be good? How could anybody reelect someone? You look at these guys. They have done nothing. Look at our lifetime. Look at what's happened in this country. Nothing.